Okay, welcome back to episode 4 of Something Like a Podcast. I'm here with Aaron Swarm. And Aaron, you have some NFL news for me today, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So 2 days ago, for all you Cowboys fans out there, I know you guys are thrilled. You lock up your star running back, Ezekiel Elliott. So he did receive a 6-year contract extension worth $90 million, but 50 of that is guaranteed money to him.
Okay.
Well, so now he had 2 years left on his regular deal, on his rookie deal, where Todd Gurley finished his. So my issue with that is the fact is that you do have off the field issues that you was going through in your first, I don't know, 2-3 years in the league, and then you hold out because you got 2 years left on your contract and you want more money. I get why, but at the same time is you are talented, but you have not really earned that money, in my opinion, just because you can't keep your nose clean off the field.
Okay.
It's always goes about can you keep yourself on the field and not let outside noise come in to you. 'Cause that's what was happening. I feel that Jerry Jones, the owner and GM of the Dallas Cowboys, will definitely be regretting this in the future, just because of when you got Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper's contract coming up. And they break out this year, which I feel Amari is going to break out because I got him on my fantasy league. I got to hope that he breaks out. But even if he does break out, you have to pay him and you got to pay Dak Prescott. You ain't going to be able to afford that because they follow a cap.
Right.
In football, it's not binding, but it's still you have to follow a cap. So non-binding, like the NBA and the MLB and NHL, is pretty much it counts against your salary cap for the team. And football is not non-binding, so even though you sign that contract, you just pay a little fee, you can still release them.
Okay, so my question is, I don't follow football, but I do know Ezekiel Elliott, so he must be some type of standout player. Did he ever break any records, rookie records or anything?
I recall, I believe he had a couple, but he has shown that he can get over 1,000-yard seasons.
Okay.
And rushing, he is the Dallas Cowboys offense.
Okay.
But at the same time, you got 2 years left on your contract. You're not worth that money over Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley finished out his contract. Todd Gurley didn't hold out. Todd Gurley came to work every day. Kept off the field issues. It was no off the field issues at all. He didn't get in trouble with the cops that I know of. Nothing has come up through the media that Todd Gurley has done anything. But for you to overleap Todd Gurley and the money that you make annually from the NFL and from your team, that's just a disgrace in my opinion, because Todd Gurley is a great talented player. I'm not saying Zeke ain't, but Todd Gurley, he does it all. He's off the field,
Right,
nose
I got
clean,
you. Yeah.
and he doesn't get into trouble. He plays the game hard just like Ezekiel Elliott does. Again, I'm not taking anything from Zeke. I'm just saying is, can he stay on the field and still produce as a high level and not get in trouble with the cops, partying, whatever. Like, I'm going to use this as a prime example. Patriots Patrick Chum got convicted of a cocaine charge, and you're making millions and millions of dollars. Why?
Yeah. I heard
Everybody
something.
killing to be in that spot.
Yeah.
I wish I was making $50 million a year just to throw a football, or catch the football, or intercept the football, knock the football down.
Right. Well, I mean, I've heard things like that before, but this is the thing I think about a lot of athletes. They come from nothing. Maybe they never seen this type of money and lifestyle, so they played football all their life. So throughout high school and college,
But you never forget where you come from.
I understand that, but I'm saying these are people who probably I don't know their background. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is there is a mentality. You have to have a mature mentality to go into a situation and look. I'm in the National Football League. I'm going to be professional, and I'm going to on and off the field. Or on and off the court. But this is what I'm saying. There's a lot of people who come from nothing, who've never seen money. So when they get the little bit, you got girls throwing I know Zeke is probably getting panties thrown in his face.
He is. He definitely
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
Because there was a report out there that a woman came forward that he did some kind of sexual rape or something towards that. I don't know the whole story behind that one. But I'm not saying that he did it. We have no evidence of that. He was not convicted. But still, you have all these issues following you. So you had to do at least. I'm not saying that you did, but you had to at least something had to happen for her to say that, unless she was trying to get money. Unless she was falsifying.
Okay, so I'm going to say this, and it kind of goes in line to what I'm talking about. So the NBA just did something where they have, I don't know if it's psychiatrists, but whatever they are, they have people on staff to do mental health evaluations on the players. So maybe the NFL needs to do that. If you have some players who are doing like Antonio Brown, I don't know him, but I'm hearing a whole bunch of. See, look, his mind is going crazy right now.
I can't, dude. Guys, sorry to you listeners. I want to dip into Brown just a little bit since we opened a can of worms. Now let's just get into it. So with Antonio Brown's situation, that was uncalled for.
Well, what did
his
he do? Because I don't know.
So what happened was he didn't show up to camp when he was supposed to. So the Raiders, they fined him. So what he does, he posted, Saudi as he is, posted on social media how he feels about the Raiders fining him.
Okay, what did he say?
How he was bitching about it, basically.
Okay.
He was bitching about it, that he calls his GM, Mike Mayock, a white crackle.
Really?
Really? And they...
For fining him.
I feel in this situation, the Raiders did everything right. I know we're off topic, but I know the Raiders did everything right, though, because of... If I was in the same boat, I would fine him, too, just because you didn't come to practice where all your teammates did.
Is that his only crime, is not going to practice, or is he doing other things?
It's just that he wasn't going to practice, but then you're saying that you're flaming on social media. You call your junior manager, the one that brought you in, a white crackle. You was being a little bit either called racist.
Okay.
You don't. I'm not. People. I'm not putting Brown down, but you're making money. You're making millions, and to go out there and do that. Well, but then you got people like you and I that has to just gotta meet ends meet just by
every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And you just doing that just to catch a football? Run around and catch a football.
I understand the frustration.
It is frustrating.
But this is, again, I'm going back to the players and probably we just talked about mental health in the last one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they should.
Some people have like these egos. So what was the one player?
I am not putting Antonio Brown down on Ezekiel. Nobody's doing that.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you do have NFL players who might come from a certain background, or they don't have that big ego. So they can come in, do their job, and stay low key. Like, you never heard anything about Jerry Rice.
No, Jerry Rice kept his nose clean.
That's what I'm saying.
That I know of, yes.
But you do have players like, and I want to use this one player for an example. Well, two. Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco, right?
Yeah.
They were like larger than life. This was like a TV show.
Yeah.
Come look at me. I get the fame.
But
now.
I got
the money.
I know of Terrell Owens didn't have any off the field issues that I know of. I started following football when his era was in the NFL, so I really didn't follow as much as I could do now. But that I know of, I haven't had any off the field issues with him. He just had a big ego on the big stage where he just was having issues with teammates in the locker room.
Okay, so let's talk about like maybe a Pac-Man Jones. Didn't he murder somebody? Or Ray Lewis? Or Plexico Burris? Or all these people who are either like they shot somebody, shot themselves, or they're just doing dumb stuff.
Doing dumb shit.
That's what I'm talking about. So some of these players, they might get accustomed to having money. Every time they go out, like I said, they got women throwing themselves. People probably want autographs and pictures, so their head is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm bigger than the NFL.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. That does happen. I agree with you. That does happen. But then they lose control, and they don't control themselves. That's what's costing them their jobs, costing them their freedom, depending on if you committed a crime.
Well, I think the NFL,
like Patrick Chung, for example, cocaine use.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you this, Kyle. We're gonna get into this, and I'm glad. Aaron, for the fans out there, I'm glad this came up because this is something that I thought about a while ago, and I had a discussion with a few other people.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that there's certain NFL players who can do no wrong, stay in the league, brush it under the rug, but then you have other NFL players who do stuff and they condemn them and kick them out the league? So I'm going to give you two examples. One is Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes, that's another sexual assault case right there in itself.
But what happened with him?
He was supposedly sexual assaulted a woman that came forward.
I understand that. This was, and I'm talking about underage.
Was she underage?
I think 17, and I want to say it happened a few times. Correct me if I'm wrong. You could look it up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, it was an underage person. Even if they weren't, you sexually assaulted a woman. What happened?
He's still playing in the league.
Did he get fined or suspended or?
I think he was. If I remember correctly, either he was fined. Something had to happen. I don't. recall because I was still at that time that was happening. I was only 1 or 2 years in the NFL. I was following it because I just started like a couple years before that happened.
Okay, I could say Colin Kaepernick, but that issue is very hot.
That's different, yeah. But that's
I mean, it's not really different. Colin Kaepernick just took a knee. He did a non-violent act, and they blackballed him. But I was going to say Ray Rice. Now, Ray Rice, his was a lot worse.
He stabbed somebody, killed them.
No, that's Ray Lewis.
This Ray. Oh no, Ray
Rice, the running back.
That's right. He beat his.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
It was terrible.
But so the NFL knew about this before it came out to the media. They knew all about this. They saw the tape and they tried to not. But then when the tape came out, they had to do something. They were getting backlash from the fans. So what did they do?
They had to.
You got to go.
They kicked him out.
They kicked him out the league, and he hasn't been back yet.
No.
So that's what I'm saying.
But that's the same with Ezekiel Elliott. There was support. I think he did something of that nature, but there was no video of it. That's one reason why he probably still there. That's a whole nother issue right there in itself.
Okay, so let's say if Ray Rice did this and someone got a hold of that video and destroyed it, he would still be in the league right now.
Technically, yes, because if you like you're saying, is the NFL was trying to take it and
sweep it under the rug,
sweep it underneath the rug, like they was trying to do. But when the video was leaked and the fans was coming at him, saying, "You still got Ray Rice in the league?" Nah, man. Then when the pockets started getting hit, because the NFL is a brand.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
a business.
Okay.
If anything happens to that business, oh hell yeah, you're gone. Because how you think that I guarantee Roger Goodell gets paid millions and millions and millions of dollars? So hey, NFL is all it is a business. It's not a love the game.
It is a business.
It's a business. So when that came out, it was hitting no pockets. His fans probably like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not coming to. They had to. Well, you got to go, Ray. You got to go.
Yeah.
Now with Ezekiel Elliott, with that situation, nothing came out. So technically, that's why they didn't probably kick him out. They suspended him for half a season, but they didn't.
Okay, so you suspend one player for half a season.
But you kick another one out. Exactly, I get what you're saying.
Or you kick another one out, but then you have someone who did sexual assault, maybe the same thing, and
that's twice as much, yeah,
and didn't get suspended,
or whatever. I don't know I don't remember what happened. Now they had to do. I don't know if they did something. They just get NFL.
Yeah, they
flipped it underneath the rug.
But see, now this spills over into something else.
We
were just talking about Kaepernick, so. This was something else I wasn't going to talk about, but since we're on the subject, we might as well talk about it. So Jay-Z had signed a deal with the NFL. Do you know this story?
Could just continue talking.
Okay. I don't know if you know the story. You can chime in.
No, I'm just listening to what you're saying.
So Jay-Z signed a deal with the NFL. Let me set the backstory up for people who don't know. So when Colin Kaepernick took the knee and got blackballed from the NFL, Jay-Z started wearing a jersey, a black Colin Kaepernick jersey, in support of what he was doing. He was wearing it at his concerts, X, Y, and Z. Last year, before that, Jay-Z made a song where he had said something. I guess the NFL wanted Jay-Z to do the halftime show a couple years back, and he declined it. Then Jay-Z makes a song where he says, the NFL, I don't need the NFL needs me.
Ooh.
Okay, so he's kind of boasting now. Last year, Travis Scott and Maroon 5 did the Super Bowl, right? I think they did the halftime show.
They did, I believe so.
So apparently, I don't know how true this part is, but we're going to get into some stuff that is true. That Jay-Z is my man lyrically, but I don't know what he's doing right now. So Travis Scott apparently got a call from Jay-Z telling him not to do the halftime show. He did it anyway. Jermaine Dupri, you probably don't know him. He's an Atlanta
exec.
So you do know Jermaine Dupri?
I was just taking it out of my head right there because he has to be some kind of exec. He has to be some kind of exec.
He does. He's the big man in Atlanta. He actually started the career of Little Bow Wow and Criss Cross. So
Criss Cross.
Yeah, Criss Cross back in the day.
No, I know about Bow Wow, but not Criss Cross.
Okay, Criss Cross.
Okay.
So apparently he got a call from Jay-Z. I guess the NFL was going to do something with Jermaine Dupri, and apparently he got a call from Jay-Z telling him not to do it. So Jay-Z at this point is taking a stance, wearing a Kaepernick jersey, and he's telling other black artists not to do the Super Bowl because of what they did to Kaepernick. So what just happened?
That's all about money. Yeah, it's all about money.
It's about money. So I remember having this conversation with somebody, and it was like, Jay-Z signed something with the NFL. And he said, it can't be about money. He's a billionaire. And I had to tell the guy, there are some people, and this is before this came out, but I'm just using history as an example. There are some people, all they care about is money. They could be billionaires. They want to get another billion, and then another billion, and then another billion. So my thing with Jay-Z is he was saying all this stuff about Kaepernick standing with him. The NFL needs him. And then he signs a deal with him.
So that tells me right there alone that they are the reason why because since he said that, the NFL kind of figures that he's big, he could be bigger than that, because most of his fans, if they sign him, will go to the NFL, which means more revenue for the NFL.
Okay, so you're getting ahead. That's exactly what it's getting to. So Jay-Z had this sit down, and they were asking him about like Colin Kaepernick and all this stuff, and he was kind of giving them the runaround. Long story short, he said sometimes you have to sit at the table with the opposition. That way they can know where you're coming from, and you can kind of give them ideas on how they can, because a lot of black people, me included, this is why I don't watch the NFL, because of the Colin Kaepernick situation, how that was handled. And then how some of the owners, like a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't talk about, I read into.
That could have been handled differently.
It could have been handled differently.
Because you got Eric Reed that was doing the same thing. That he signed with my team, the Carolina Panthers, last year. Then we re-signed him again for like a 3-4 year deal worth over $25 million in the offseason here to rejoin us. But then you don't, Kaepernick's out there.
But this is what I think. So Kaepernick was the first person to start doing this. So if you remember, he was sitting down first. He wasn't kneeling first. He was sitting down. Then I guess he talked to a Marine and he said, if you want to be respectable or respectful to the flag, you take a knee. He was doing that.
Okay.
No, this is what I'm not going to say he's a liar. I mean, if someone said take a knee, taking a knee is more respectful than just sitting down.
Yes, you're correct. It is more respectful, but yeah, let's go ahead. Continue as you were saying.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but with Jay-Z, they were asking him these things, and he's kind of saying, we're past kneeling. We're past kneeling. So a lot of NFL players came out and said, Jay, you was never on the field kneeling. So how can you tell us that we're past that? There's still police brutality. That's what Colin Kaepernick took a knee for. It's still going on, so people are still taking a knee. So you have a rapper who just has a lot of money and a lot of influence, who's trying
likes to talk a lot of stuff. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but he's just trying to tell the black people or certain NFL people that we're past this. So what did he say? He said, okay, we made that example that we took a knee. We know what the issue is. So what do we do from here? Now we have to put things into action. So he's talking about social justice with the NFL. He's doing this deal with the NFL for social justice. What does he do? They're going to start selling clothes. How's that helping the people who are being shot by? It gets worse than this. And this is just on Jay-Z's level. And I think you have to understand that people do chess moves. Jay-Z, a lot of people think that Jay-Z is incredibly smart. You can't be a billionaire and not be smart. But you have to understand that NFL owners are smart too, bro.
Yeah,
they're billionaires and they're worth more than you.
Exactly.
So who's to say that they didn't come up with this chess move? Okay, we can do this. Jay-Z's going to do that. And when he does that, then we got him.
Exactly.
And I think this is what happened. So Jay-Z, he comes into this. We're going to do social work, XYZ. So he's in charge of the concert. So yesterday, what was it? Green Bay versus the Bears, right?
Yep.
So there was a concert before that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Meek Mill.
It was Meek Mill. And I did a post on Twitter. I don't know if you saw because we're Twitter followers, but I did say something like, okay, if you're doing this for social justice, I would think when you're running a concert, you would have some type of elements of social justice.
Yeah, I saw that because I do on my Twitter at AllenSwarm03, I do have you down where I click up the top where I get notifications when anytime you tweet, so I pay attention to that. I do that. I have like 11 other people that I do that with, so I can keep up on sports and see what you post. Yeah, I did see that. That was kind of odd.
It was odd. So when you have this concert that is supposed to be set up for social injustice and to bring awareness, but you're talking about Mercedes-Benz's.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with it. So that's what I'm saying. Now you're in.
We did talk about in past episodes of something like a podcast hill that it's you got Mercedes, you got all this money, but you want to go buy Mercedes, Lamborghinis, you want to buy all these high priced items, but then you're sitting there trying to say that you're trying to take a stand. Take a stand on something that's been an issue in America going back to Martin Luther King days and even before then.
Yeah.
And then but at the same time, you're talking about money, fame, and high price items instead of talking about what's the problem.
Exactly, and I think that's what I got from it. So it was supposed to be Meek Mill, Megan something. It's a white female singer I've never heard of in my life, and another rapper named Rhapsody, which I like Rhapsody a lot. But I didn't see those other performances. I just saw the snippet of the Meek Mill, and that's only because of Twitter, because I wasn't going to watch it on TV. But this is my point. So then it comes out later that the NFL and Jay-Z's company is Rock Nation, and let me say this before I forget it. There have been so many other companies who have, Papa John's. I'm going to say this about Papa John's. Papa John's and the NFL had a deal, right?
They did.
They were, the official sponsor of the NFL.
Was.
So I'm not even going to get into the controversy. What I'm saying is this. All that stuff happened behind closed doors. When they made their little sponsorship or whatever business deals they had, it was behind closed doors. No one knew about it. You just saw the commercials, and you might see Peyton Manning in a few of the commercials.
He's still in the commercials.
Yes. But for some reason, Jay-Z's company is Rock Nation. Why couldn't they have done this behind closed doors? Why did it have to be on TV for people to see it televised? He's all over the internet.
Because, like I said in a few minutes ago, that the NFL is trying to get some publicity from this.
They are. Okay, you're right. So, with that, they know they have Jay-Z now.
And
because they probably gave him some money.
But yeah, they did.
They did. So people don't know this part either. Jay-Z's company, Rock Nation, now did a deal with the NFL where they can manage NFL players.
What?
Yes. They can manage NFL players.
So now his company can be agents for the NFL. That's insane.
But it's all money.
It is. That's what I'm about to say.
Okay.
This is what I want to say. So I feel that the NFL did this just because of his work carries a lot of weight, for one. So when he was telling all African Americans not to perform, the artists to perform for the NFL, they knew that was part of the revenue scheme. So they had to figure out how, even though with the Colin Kaepernick and the Eric Reid situations, they had to somehow drag Jay-Z back, say, we need you because you're taking half, but some of the money.
Yeah.
So, and they know his work carries a lot of weight, so they know if they did sign him like that, make it public, people will come buy more NFL jerseys, which the NFL gets a profit of that. They'll come to the games, where obviously NFL gets profit, gets stuff off of that. So it's all about, like I said in the beginning, NFL is not the love of the game. I love football. The reason why I watch NFL is because I do the love of the game.
Right.
I don't give a shit about the money, but it's just sad to see how the NFL just plays off money.
Well, they're a business.
That's how it is nowadays. It's a business. It's I would say they're probably over $1 billion, maybe $1 trillion business.
Yeah, a few billion.
Yeah.
But just to wrap this up with Jay-Z, and it got worse after all of this stuff happened. So apparently, now he's got his company in position where they can manage NFL players. They probably gave him something to put in his pockets.
Obviously,
they
probably
did that too. Again, this is the chess move. Jay-Z, this is what we're going to do. And a lot of people think that Jay-Z might be in line to be an NFL owner. He's a billionaire.
I think he owes the Brooklyn Nets already.
No, and that's another long story.
That's another song right there.
He was like 0.1% owner, and then he sold it. So a lot of people thought he was like a big portion. He was like 1% owner. I mean, still, it was the influence. Oh, I'm glad you brought this. It's the same thing.
He still had
it's the same thing because they gentrified.
I see what you're saying. It is the same thing. I get it. Continue. I get it.
So he's the face, so they can come behind and do whatever they need to do. Jay-Z's from Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Okay. So they had, I guess, businesses around where they wanted to build this Barclays, the center where the Nets play. So what they had to do was, some of these people got to go so we can build this. Well, if we come in and do it, we're going to get backlash. Let's get Jay-Z.
Yeah.
He's the face.
He's the face of that. So that's why they give him so much. They obviously say, oh, here you go, Jason. Here's some money to put in your pocket. You own like 1.1% of this.
Yeah.
You just talk about this. And people came up and said, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's Jay-Z, and he gets so much love. And
I love this. I love that this is actually a conspiracy, guys. Yeah. This is definitely a good conspiracy.
Well, this might be a little more than a conspiracy because people can go back and pull up the numbers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At first it was, but now you pull up the numbers now. Now you can definitely prove it.
So going back to the NFL. So now he's in position again to manage these players. They probably line his pockets. He gets to kind of cultivate the halftime show lineup.
And make him more money.
Okay, so then it came out that the NFL and Rock Nation, Jay-Z's company, gave $400,000. I want to say that to Chicago kids.
I wish I had that in my pocket.
All right, but check this out. Yeah, absolutely. So this is all under the guise of social justice. Chicago, a lot of people don't know Chicago. A lot of black teens are killing each other in Chicago. But then again, that's another conspiracy theory that we can get into. A lot of people think that police are killing these kids, but they're setting them up to make it look like it's a black-on-black crime. There have been people, I know this one guy that I used to listen to said that teens would go down alleys and just see guns in the alleys, like someone laid them there. So now because they're gangs, they're legit gangs out in Chicago.
Definitely, just like New York City.
Yeah, they're legit gangs. So if you have these guns laid around, and a lot of these murders aren't solved. They go unsolved. So this is, okay, so I'm just setting that up. So you have a crisis in Chicago with black-on-black crime. So what? The NFL, social justice again, the NFL and Rock Nation put together $400,000 to give to these kids in Chicago. But come to find out, it's going into the hands of white executives. Not only that, the Chicago kid, you see a lot of black, even older people, they wear braids. It's almost like a staple point for a lot of black people is to grow their hair out into braids. They're cutting their hairs off. So this company that is supposed to get this money are taking the black youth and cutting their hair, saying this will set you up for a better life if you cut your hair.
No, I don't.
This is what I'm saying. How does Jay-Z feel about that? How does Jay-Z feel that he's now in bed with the NFL, knowing the history of the NFL and the owners? To get in bed with them, they give you a little bit of money, and now this is transpiring.
Exactly. I feel in the long run that this partnership is not going to work out. Just because the simple fact is that
it's working out for the NFL.
It is, but not for Jay-Z in the end. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Because now you talk good about the NFL. You're in bed with them, like you just said.
Yeah.
You cannot talk shit.
You can't.
You gotta say the NFL is the best league out there, the best over MLB, NHL, and NBA. But like I said, you got to be careful who you partner with now, because if you go to like the NBA or the NHL, now the NFL is gonna be like, really,
yeah.
Like you come to us, we had a deal, So now he's kind of put himself in a position where he got money hungry. That's what it sounds like to me, that he wanted more money. Obviously, he got something in his pocket. We don't know the whole details of the deal, but we know that he got something in return.
Yeah, he got some money.
He got some money. And then now you're back in the NFL, but if something happens, because there's been a lot of conspiracies, a lot of stuff happening inside the NFL with a lot of issues over the years. You don't hear anything in the MLB, nothing in the NHL, hardly anything in the NBA, but there's always, the NFL's always in the news for the wrong reasons sometimes.
Well, I know the NBA, what was his name? Sterling? Remember the Clippers owner?
Yes, that's the only thing that I know. That's only one thing that I know of where he was made some racial remarks.
Right, but my point is the NBA has always stood behind their players, and a lot, probably not 100%, but better than the NFL.
NFL has been doing.
Right, so I've heard some things where it's cool for you guys to go ahead and speak out against social justice and don't.
What's wrong is wrong, and what's right is right.
That's my thing. But I think like Adam Silver. I think that's his name.
He's the commissioner's name. Adam
Silver. Let the players know that it's okay. You don't have to worry about being reprimanded for saying something, but you got to stand for the flag. So I mean, it's a one-off.
Which I agree with Adam Silver on a certain level. The fact is, I'm not saying what Colin Kaepernick, what Eric Reed did was wrong, but I get what they was trying to express.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is wrong. It should be equal rights in America, but at the same time, you could have done it in a different way than what you did. You could do like a pop rally, because you still gotta respect the flag.
Well,
but you could have maybe set up like a pep rally like Martin Luther King did. But like we disagree with what's going on in on this country. Instead of doing what he did. Now he's out of a job in the NFL, but he's making money from Nike. But at the same time, you could still be in the NFL making money, still be an NFL quarterback for an NFL team.
But at the end of the day, all he did was peacefully protest. And after he got the backlash, he said, "How can I do this in a respectful manner?" And they said, "Just take a knee." This is coming from somebody. So the NFL.
I agree with you. I'm not defending the NFL.
Okay,
I'm just saying that the
NFL
NFL should have did something different. Yeah.
Okay, I get you now.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying something else.
No.
Okay, the NFL could have handled it differently.
They messed up.
But at the end of the day, they're good now.
They don't give a shit. That's what I'm saying.
They don't care.
Because what happened is it was costing them money, because people that like to watch NFL, with me on this prime example, as a person that loves Jesus Christ, you have to be respectful to other people regardless. Like I said, I'm not saying I don't disagree with it. I disagree with some aspects, but then you have to look at it as at a point of view that he the reason why he did it, because he was trying to do what Martin Luther King did. He did a peaceful protest. He didn't fight nobody. He didn't cause nothing. He was just being peaceful about it. But at the same time, token, the NFL didn't kill. Because you know why? Because as I'm getting to it right now, as I'm getting to my point, I know it's getting ill.
No, you good.
As I'm getting to my point fact is a lot of people that respects the flag so much, I think they was taking the money out of things. They wasn't ordering jerseys when all this stuff was going down. So the NFL, what they had to do, they had to kick him out.
Yeah.
Because it was hitting no bottom line. We're never going to know what that was, but all I know is they was not getting money. Then they hook up with Jay-Z. And now let's go by where this is not gonna look good for Jay-Z. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna look bad for him, because NFL is getting good on it. But at the end of the day, you can't go to all the other leagues and get money from them too, because the NFL's like, whoa, wait, you're
unless the contract is up, and I'm sure there was a contract. It probably was stated in the contract, you can't do this, and that.
Exactly.
This is what you have to do. We're gonna give you money, and we're gonna give you perks like come in and manage some of the players.
That's what I'm saying. So at the same time, the NFL gets, at the end of the day, at the end of this deal, Jay-Z gets up the butt, and NFL gets everything that they want out of this, because they get the publicity. They get people that say, "Oh, Jay-Z's back in." People that doesn't follow the NFL will follow the NFL.
Yeah.
People that's been following the NFL say, "Oh shit,"
yeah,
and then keep going from there. But at the same time, Jay-Z this ain't gonna look good. And when it's all said and done, this ain't gonna look good for him. That's just my opinion.
A lot of people think that Jay-Z might have an ace up his sleeve, but it's got to be one hell of an ace, man.
No, but I'm just saying this. NFL got you where you want him.
It sounds like they got you. I don't understand with all of this stuff coming out.
How do you get an ace to get
I just keep saying that, yes, Jay-Z could be very smart. He could be very cunning, but you have to understand you're one person, and you might have Jay-Z and Rock Nation might be a good group of people, and they talk things out. Trust me, these NFL owners have power more than him, than he can ever imagine.
That's what I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, this backfires on Jay-Z. Yeah. It's good for the NFL. Yeah. I know that we was talking about Ezekiel Elliott. It's cool because it opened up doors, because it is a fact. Yeah. Like I said, again, to the audience out there that's listening and the fans, that I feel that is, again, I'm going to close on with Ezekiel Elliott, that he ain't worth that money. Todd Gurley has played up to that level as much as Zeke does. I'm not taking credit from that, but the only difference between both of them, off the field issues. I'm just gonna leave my opinion with that.
That's cool. And my final opinion on that, and I just want to wrap that up with the Jay-Z thing.
I didn't even know that. That's kind of informational. And to the audience out there that didn't know, now they're gonna know. The fact is that now Jay-Z's in bed after he told other artists that
to not do it.
Not do it. But that's kind of contradicting what you were saying.
Very contradictory.
So it's really going. I feel in the future, you're not gonna have guys, listen for another show out there. We'll have another show out there that's going to describe how this backfired on Jay-Z.
But see, that's what I've been telling people. I said, Well, the NFL season is what, 5-6 months?
The NFL season, yeah, I believe so, because it's 17 games, 16 games, 17, then it goes into 18, 19, 20, 21, which is the playoffs.
Okay.
Exactly, yes.
So even if it's 5 months, we're going to find out in 5 months how this plays out. And
I'm going to definitely be watching it also, really close by.
I'm definitely going to.
Because I am too, because of I got my sports Twitter account, which is at AaronSwarm03 is my Twitter. So if you want to come follow me on there, I post some good sources when it comes to sports. Like I get mine from Ian Rappin. I get mine from Adam Schefter. All the actual NFL analysts. I get it from them, and then I just retweet it, giving them credit, and then.
Yeah, fill me in because I have no clue. But we're gonna wrap that up, and we're gonna get into something that we were talking about the last episode that I was going to try to bring to the show was sun gods. So, this is Horace versus Jesus. Horace. Now, I'm going to explain this, and not to insult people's intelligence, but I'm going to. Denzel Washington had this quote one time in a movie. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. That way, everyone can understand what I'm saying. So, BC is before Christ. Okay. BC is before Christ. Horus was born in 3000 BC. He was an Egyptian god. Now, to go back, the early civilization believed that the sun was a representation of God because the sun gave life, it gave sight, it gave warmth, and
I see why they would say that because God said when he was creating the heavens and the earth, he was like, let there be light.
Let there be light.
And then there was light.
Yeah.
And God liked it and saw it was good.
Yeah. And they knew this early on. Without the sun, every living thing would cease to exist without the sun. So knowing this, and they were big into astrology, so they studied the stars. They came up with the constellations. They came up with the seasons, and it's a lot that goes behind this. I'm not going to get all the way into it, but citing the source was Zeitgeist, a DVD I got in 2013, and they have a lot of interesting stuff on the DVD, but this one really kind of grabbed me. So I want to go through a few gods. Horace, and I'm going to debunk it too because I looked up someone who debunked it, and he was a hardcore Christian. So Horace, 3000 BC, was born in Egypt. He was born on December 25th. There was a star in the east. 3 kings came and traveled to see him. He was the newborn savior. He was a teacher at 12. He had 12 disciples. He healed the sick, walked on water, was crucified, buried for 3 days, and was resurrected. Kyle is shaking his head, but we're going to get to that. I'll probably call you Kyle in episode 95, but I'll try Aaron. So there's other...
To me, that's Jesus right there. He described everything what Jesus did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's some other sun gods. Attis of Greece, 1200 BC. His skill set is the same. He was born of a virgin, December 25th, healed the sick. Krishna of India, 900 BC, Dionysus of Greece, 500 BC, and Mithra of Persia, 1200 BC. They're different saviors from all over the world, but their characteristics are the same. Mm-hmm. So, these are myths. These are mythical figures.
Obviously. There's no proof.
Yeah, there's no proof.
On this earth, you would not live eternally. Now, obviously, you got two places you can go. Either if you believe in Jesus, you're going to live, afterlife, you're going to live... in heaven eternally with him and anybody else that's been saved. If not, you're gonna go down to what's the darkest place that you don't want to be.
Okay, so
but the reason why I said that is because of internally, you're not gonna live on this earth internally. So with that being said on that God, that's no such thing.
We'll get to him, but I wanted to touch on that real quick. Okay. So I just came across something about Dante's Inferno, and it had to do with the different stages of hell. And there's this Stephen King movie. 1408, I forget the name of the movie, but it had Sam Jackson in it. Long story short, this guy goes to this hotel and he has to experience the different stages of hell. So the different stages of hell, I think each stage is in line with a sin. But you can rise up from that. You can rise up from it and get to heaven. You have to just go through, you have to repent for each of these sins. Or whatever sin that you were guilty of, you have to go through that level of hell and then you can be brought to heaven. But see, this is what I'm saying. There are so many different myths. There are so many different texts. Like the Bible was written by, you were telling me earlier, a disciple, correct?
Correct, I believe so.
Okay,
I'm trying to remember.
but it was inspired by God.
Yes,
Okay.
God inspired him to write it. He's the one that gave God gave him the power to write it.
Okay, so Dante's Inferno, I don't know who wrote that, but it's still in line with something holy because you're trying to get to a certain level and they're telling you that. So I say that just to say a lot of this could be myth, but I'm going to go to the debunking real quick. So myth, I'm only going to use two. The guy kind of debunked all four of these different deities or five different deities, but I'm just going to give you two. So Horace, he says Horace was not born on December 25th. Then he also said there was no record of Jesus being born in the Bible. There's nothing that says in the Bible that Jesus was born on December 25th. So we did some earlier research and we found out that it was something that it came out, it could have been like March 25th, and there's like a 9-month lag. I don't know how that works out.
Okay, we got to do more research on it.
We will do more research on it. But Horace was not born of a virgin. Horace did not have a star in the east where the kings came to look for the newborn savior. And Horace didn't have 12 disciples. He had 4 followers. But what the guy did say was Horace's mother, I would call it divine. I don't know what you would call that.
Turn into a border crow and
so
have sex with the dead dad and you get pregnant.
I'm trying to set this up so you know, like if you have an immaculate conception, you could still have a divine birth. So if a woman wakes up one day and she's pregnant and she's never had sex, that's immaculate conception. Someone put the seed inside of her. Okay. So from this, Mary, am I wrong?
Mary, her name was, yes.
Okay, was touched by God and given the baby of Jesus Christ.
Correct.
So with this, even though it's different, it's almost the same. Horace's mom turned into a bird, had sex with, I think she killed her husband, had sex with the dead husband. I could be mistaken because the guy said there's 2 or 3 different stories. And then that's how Horace was born. So that's my thing. If your mom is able to turn into a bird, then she's not human.
Obviously
but again,
not.
We're going back. These are myths. There's nothing
no concrete
factual.
evidence,
Yes, and he says there's nothing written down where any of this stuff. But he said this was written down, that the mom turned into a bird. He was debunking everything that wasn't written down. But he did say the mom turned into a bird and had Horace. So then we get with Mithra. Mithra to me was the more interesting one. And Mithra was the one from Persia. Mithra was born from a rock. So again, this is
could be another.
I mean, it is a myth, but again, I'm saying each one of these deities are in a certain area in the world. So Horus was from Egypt, Mithras from Persia, Dionysus is from Greece, Attis is from Greece, and then we had the other one, Krishna, who's from India. So each one of these areas have their own god, their own deities. So Mithra, born from a rock. And then they also said Mithra never died. So but this is what I'm saying. He debunked it, but then he said something else. He said Mithra was not resurrected. Okay. Oh, he wasn't resurrected. Why? Because he never died.
Well, obviously,
so
like
still
I said,
living.
that's not true.
It's not true.
True, obviously, because like you said, somebody with the technology we got nowadays that we have from space, you're trying to tell me we can't detect this in human being that's supposed to be dead on Earth for eternity?
Okay. So
that's over 3,000 years, 4,000 years plus.
So this is what I'm going to say. I think sometimes, and me and a friend had this conversation a long time ago about the Bible. And we were talking about the Bible, I think, is a tool to give people morals. So what if you were raised in a family who, let's say a dysfunctional family?
Obviously, that's what I was.
Okay.
My mom, I'm not close to my mom and dad whatsoever.
Okay.
That we're not getting into that.
Okay,
yes.
but there are other people like that who are not close to their parents. Mm-mm. They're in dysfunction. So now they're out in this world trying to find questions or answers to their questions, right? So then you have this book. I'm going to give you a perfect example. There was a point in time where I was a part of this group, right? And my brother got locked up and the whole group just left. Now, these are people I grew up with, right? So you would think, okay, in tough times, I mean, there's another backstory that I'm not going to get into. But you would think people that you grew up with, before you get into a music group, I know you. We went to school together. I used to come over your house after school. We used to play, do all this stuff. You would think that they would be with you to the end.
Obviously not, because that's not true friends, right, though.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is this. When everything went down and my brother got locked up, everybody left. And I didn't know why until later. I found out why some people left, because they probably had a hand in him getting locked up. But during that time, and I had a girlfriend for 6 years. And it's funny how everything just, when they say when it rains, it pours.
It did pour.
That shit is real. So my brother got locked up. My music group broke up. I'm calling them. Nobody's returning my calls. And then my girlfriend, she all of a sudden just kind of leaves too. She wants to take a break. So I'm like, damn, man, it's like everything, my whole world's crashing around me. So what did I do? I picked up the Bible. And I had every intention to read the entire Bible. I got to Genesis and I said, I cannot finish this. But I came to the conclusion, my favorite parts of the Bible is the Proverbs. These are texts that you can kind of apply to your life. They're words of wisdom. I came to the conclusion that the Bible is not, this is just me speaking. I'm not speaking for anybody else. It's just me and how I interpreted it. The Bible to me was not something that I felt was an accurate representation of a certain part of history, but more so something that can feed your soul. So when you're going through a tough time, you can read it. You see how these certain people's acted in certain situations, or when you read Proverbs, it tells you how to pick a mate. Or same thing with the Jay-Z thing. It's funny. Money, everything that glitters isn't gold.
Nope.
So just because somebody puts a whole big bag of money next to you, you don't know what's attached to that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm getting off topic a little bit. A lot of people think that Jesus is just something they can inspire to be like. What would Jesus do, right? That's the phrase. Nothing more than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King lived his life a certain way. He died for his beliefs, right or wrong. What Martin Luther King was struggling for, he died for the same way. So people coming up now, they might hear Martin Luther King's story and they say, okay, well, I can aspire to be like that. I've read the Bible. What we just read about all these disciples and all these guys, now we can get to Jesus. Fill me in on what you feel Jesus is and how he influences the world. Can you do that?
I'm gonna try. Like I said, I'm human like you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not God. So the way I interpret it is, he is our Lord Savior. He did die on that cross, because that's been proven already.
How did they prove that?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Well, I read something and I heard something about this atheist that was an atheist at one time. He's not now. Well, he was trying to find and debunk that Jesus never walked the earth. He was never risen, but he couldn't find it. He found evidence of Jesus that actually did die on the cross, was born, and did rise again after 3 days. Because what I'm saying is he risen in 3 days, because he went down to hell. This is what I'm thinking.
Jesus went to
hell?
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. He got the keys from the devil, which was trying to think life, whatever the keys were. He got it, and then he rose again. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that's true. That's what I'm thinking. That's my opinion. And it's keys to life and death. That's right. Keys to life and death. I just couldn't get it out. That he did do. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what he did. I'm not saying that he did. That's what I'm thinking. And then he comes back, and you see him again. So there was this. You see this movie that was based on the Romans side of it. Well, it's this one Roman soldier. He was actually the one that carried out the act. But he saw Jesus rise in 3 days. It changed his life forever. Then he started following Christ. So what I like I said is there's proven fact that Jesus did walk the planet, and those stuff did go down on what the Bible's saying, and what the Bible's interpreting, and what the Bible's saying on that aspect. He did walk the earth, and that crucifixion did happen.
Now, I want to say I've heard something similar. So I heard that Jesus was a prophet. He wasn't the son of God. I heard that he was going around teaching people, and the Romans didn't like it. And at the end of the day, the Romans crucified him because he was speaking truth to power.
Technically, that's what a lot of people get wrong is the fact is the Romans didn't kill
Then
him.
Who did?
His people did.
His own people.
His own
killed him.
people. The Romans just carried it out.
Okay.
His own people killed him.
Okay.
We killed him. If you think about it, that's what it's in some of these songs I love to hear from the Newsboys, Jeremy Camp and Colton Dixon and etc. Is the fact is that we got blood on our hands without a doubt. Why do you think we need to be saved through Christ? Because if we got blood on our hands, we killed God's son. Point blank and period. Like I said, the Romans just carried it out. They did what we wanted them to do.
Okay.
You should see that movie. I think it's Son of God or Romans or something. Something is with the Roman soldier, and you see it through his perspective.
Okay.
It's a great movie. You see how his life, where he was carrying out the act of mortal, and then you see how his life turns around. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
For that.
Now, we're coming up on the end, but I just wanted to wrap this up real quick. I've talked to my fair share of pastors. I've talked to people who've read the Bible. I've talked to people who've studied the Bible. Went in the office, and a pastor took me back and was like, I heard you had questions, and I'm asking him questions. He can't answer these questions. So,
because they don't know them.
Well, that's what I've been told.
Because with the questions that you was asking, the questions that they was good at questions, but what you was asking is, I think it's above on what a human could possibly, you get what I'm saying, that could answer.
Well, I'm human.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He couldn't answer it. I know he's supposed to be the man of God. I get that, but he just couldn't answer it. What was your questions?
They had a lot to do with, like, there wasn't any mention of dinosaurs in the Bible, but we have the fossils, the bones. So you would think if it's the inception, if the Bible tells me, and I read this in, I believe it was Genesis, when Jesus created Adam, took his rib, created Eve. They were the first two people on the planet. Adam was given the responsibility to name every animal in the world.
Do you think that was made up by us? That's another conspiracy. There was something that was made up by humans.
Okay, so this is my point though. So something I didn't mention that there are 44 different Bibles. So you have the Old Testament, you have the New Testament, you have the King James Version, you have the American Studies Version, and then 40 other different versions.
Which is... That's another topic that we can talk about. We are running out of time.
We are, but we can go over a little bit. So I just want to wrap this up. So with that, I've read a little bit of the Quran and I read a little bit of the Bible, and I want to say, it feels like we had this conversation before.
We did.
But just to wrap this up with Jesus, the questions that I asked were never answered. When I was watching this Zeitgeist video and they named all of these deities, it led me to believe that even if they debunked to say that they weren't born on the same day, they didn't have the same miracles, they weren't resurrected, he still gave credence to the fact that they were deities. They're living forever, even if they're mythical. So to me, maybe Jesus could be a mythical figure, and that's nothing. I'm not slighting him. What I'm saying is this is a figure that a lot of people can gravitate to when they're going through some stuff. They can see what type of person he was. They can kind of alter their life to be a better person. But at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. Somebody can come through and just wipe everything that I set out. But until that day, I'm going to keep believing what I believe. And that is what it is.
It is what it is.
So we're coming up on 53 minutes. Another great show.
I enjoyed it.
You know what I like the most is like when we talk about one subject
and we
it
just
goes
move
into
it. Yeah, I know
else.
you guys had to love that, especially with the NFL
Yeah,
news.
that was good.
I know you audience is definitely going to love that.
Absolutely.
I know I got a little hot just because of, again, it's not that I don't like Antonio Brown or Ezekiel Elliott. It's just that you just need to relax. Play the game, the game that you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars just to throw a football, catch the football around. Just do your job and shut up.
I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, all that off the field stuff.
Keep it all.
Yeah, just
stop it. Keep it to yourself.
Or just wait till the season's over and do whatever you have to do
whatever.
all season. But this is episode 4. Thank you again for listening. This is the 1RM,
Aaron Swarm.
and we'll catch you on episode 5.
Peace.